guys, welcome back to The Right Nurse. In this video, I will be discussing the top 5 nursing school mistakes that I have made and I'm sure countless others have made. If you want to know what those top 5 mistakes are, please continue watching. Oh, and before we get started, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel so you can keep up with all my weekly videos. Now let's get to it. So let's just start with number 1, guys. So number 1, I will say, don't just study for the test. I repeat, don't just study for the test. It is important that you learn this information and know it inside and out. Like, you need to know this information like the back of your hand. The number one reason, honestly, is that we will be taking care of people. People's lives will literally be in our hands, okay? So it's important that you know this information, that you remember this information. Just studying for the test and then forgetting the information 24 to 48 hours later is not going to do you any good, especially in nursing school. And I say this because the first semester you're learning so much information, but it's just a build up on the information that you have already learned once you start going to the second semester, the third semester. It's important that we remember the basics because we will be adding on top of that information, the stuff that we previously learned, we will be adding on top of that. So if you're forgetting the information, not only will you have to relearn the previous semesters, but then you have to learn the new stuff for the semester that you're in now. So I recommend is know the information like the back of your hand. Learn it, memorize it, do what you have to do to make sure you understand it and you know it. That honestly is like one of the most important things, especially to succeed in nursing school. So don't make that mistake, guys. Alright guys, so the second mistake that a lot of students make, including myself, I was the queen of this previously, is procrastinating. I repeat, you do not want to procrastinate in nursing school.
I repeat, do not procrastinate in nursing school.
Like, it will do you no justice. I promise you, you'll fail. It will bite you in the ass and you'll fall on your face. Because that's what I did. Like, the first test, it bit me in the ass and I fell on my face. Like, you cannot procrastinate. There's so much information being thrown at you this way, that it's impossible to learn all the information and know it by heart and understand it within 24 to 48 hours. Like, you literally need to study every day. And if you want to know how to study, you can also watch my previous videos where I talk about my best study tips and how I study for nursing school. But when I tell you guys waiting to the last minute to even complete projects, to complete assignments, clinical paperwork, like, it's so much stuff that it's just impossible. It's impossible. You do not want to procrastinate. It won't do you any justice at all. You have to stay on top of it and stay organized. And that takes me to the third mistake that I made, and I'm sure countless others have made, is not being organized in nursing school. When I tell you guys, it is so important to be organized for nursing school. Like I previously stated, it's a lot of information. When you start your clinicals, it's a lot of clinical paperwork. So it's important to make sure that you are organized. I don't care if you do a regular paper planner or if you do digital planners, you need to be organized. Like, it is so important. What I recommend is planning out your week in advance. Look at all the assignments, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people's schools post a schedule. So plan out your week. Put the assignments down that are due. Put down any projects or anything that is due for the week. Plan it out ahead of time so you're not trying to figure things out day by day. Plan it a week in advance. And what I also always recommend is making sure you have everything that you need for the next day the night before. So for clinical, I always made sure I had my badge, all my clinical paperwork, all my med sheets, everything that I needed, all my assessments. I made sure that was in my clinical bag the night before. Because God forbid I woke up and forgot my badge, and by the time I get to clinical, 6 o'clock in the morning, 6:30, I can't go to clinical. I'll be kicked out because I don't have a badge. So it's just really important to be organized for nursing school, or just in life in general, honestly. But I definitely recommend having a planner and double checking everything the night before, and to plan out your week in advance. Therefore, you don't have to worry about missing assignments and forgetting a badge or anything like that. So definitely, that is a nursing school mistake. Please make sure, you guys, that you're organized. please. Alright guys, so the fourth nursing school mistake is not being prepared for class. I was definitely guilty of this because they would give you like 3 chapters to read and the chapters are like this thick, and I was just like, yeah, no, I'll just wait. They're gonna give us an outline. We're gonna go through it in class. You know, who needs to read all those chapters? Sometimes teachers like to trick you up and they don't put everything on the outline, and they be like, oh, well, that was in the chapter you were supposed to read. That has happened before. Okay, so sometimes teachers don't always put everything in our outline, and you do need to read. So it is important to read before class. Now don't get it twisted. Your girl did not read every single paragraph. What I recommend is skimming the chapters, getting an idea of what you're going to learn for the next day. I recommend just skimming it, and if you have some questions or you don't quite understand something, write it down. That way when you get to class, it's not like all the information is new. It's not like you're learning the information. You technically are, you learning it, but you have an idea of what you're learning. It makes a world of a difference. I don't even know if that makes sense, but if you read the chapters the night before, you have an idea of what the teacher will be talking about. If you have questions, you can ask them while in class. But then when you get to class and the teacher goes through the outlines and the slides and the PowerPoints, you have a better understanding and it's easier for you to learn the information. So that's why I definitely recommend at least just skimming the chapters, even going through the PowerPoints. Just look over things first, so that way it's not like all this new stuff at once, especially if your class is like 3 hours long, and after a while sometimes you zone out in class, so you might miss it. So I definitely recommend looking over the information the night before, so that way you're better prepared for the next day in class. Alright guys, so we made it to the end. We are at number 5. The 5th nursing school mistake that I have made, and that I'm sure others have made as well, is not taking advantage of practice lab. Like, at first I was taking advantage of practice lab because I wanted to know, make sure I got all my skills and everything down, but then I started to slack off. But I realized practice lab is important for so many reasons, and it's not just about practicing the skills. In practice lab, one, you get to get one-on-one time with an instructor. So if you really didn't understand something, or you need additional help with skills, or just subjects that you learned in class even, the instructors are there to help you one-on-one. So it's definitely important to go to lab time, to connect with your instructors, and get that additional help if you need to practice your skills. Another reason why practice lab is so important is that you get to connect with your classmates. You guys can exchange study tips, give advice on certain things, and build that relationship with your classmates. Like, yes, nursing school is not about making friends and all that good stuff, but it is nice to engage with others, talk to other classmates, because eventually you will be building up these friendships. You guys will be going through the trenches together. You'll be in clinical together, and you guys will be going through the struggle. So it is nice to build up those relationships, especially say if you are unable to come to class, you have a family emergency, you have a friend in class that can give you the notes. Like, it's just important to still build those relationships and those connections. Another thing is that a lot of upperclassmen also go to practice lab. So during that time, you're able to engage with upperclassmen, pick their brains about the following semesters to come, and they also give you really good advice so you know what to expect going into the next semesters and going up into the higher levels. So I definitely recommend going to practice lab. There's so many benefits that you can get just by going to practice lab, whether it's practicing your skills, engaging with upperclassmen, one-on-one times with instructors, and then also just building that relationship with your classmates and building those bonds and friendships is really important, I believe, to go to practice lab. So yeah. Alright guys, that is it for this video. I want to again thank you for tuning in. If you guys have any comments, or if you guys know any other nursing school mistakes that you have made or that others have made, please leave it in the comment section below. And again, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace. Honestly.